What skills and abilities have helped you become the leader that you are today?
Wow. Uh, yeah, when you look at where I'm at today, is that I'm a director of the First Nations Center and also an adjunct professor in First Nations Studies at the University of Northern British Columbia. But I'm also help develop Aboriginal communities in healthy ways and revitalization of traditions. So I think really what has helped is grounding in traditional knowledge and belief. I'm Secwepmc First Nations, and I come from a traditional family that values our language and values our traditions. And that's probably helped me the most is just knowing my tradition, Secwepmc traditions, and it has helped me succeed within education too. So I did a bachelor's degree in arts and sociology and a master's degree in education, and I've always written about Aboriginal matters, and that's what's helped me become successful.
Oh, okay. What is the most challenging aspect of your role?
Really, the most challenging aspect of my role is that I not only directly work with Aboriginal students, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, is is that always moving and always motivating students to reach balance. I really am an advocate that the Aboriginal students be successful at the university, but I want them to make sure that they retain their First Nations traditions. Don't be successful for success sake. That's kind of an awkward statement, but if they're going to go through an academic studies and to be successful, then they need to revitalize their traditions too. So I think that's always challenging, is that our, as Indigenous people, our values of success can be different than the mainstream.
Okay. So, for my next question, how do you combine or practice traditional values in the contemporary world?
See, that's always see. My role as director is student support services, so I help students. And but when you do it at a university setting, it's challenging to retain traditional values. But that's really the role. My role, I see, is that not only seeking academic balance, but also physical balance, emotional balance, and spiritual balance. So I will directly help students with their academic studies. I would encourage them to stay physically active, and I would make sure that there's emotional balance. That's why we put emphasis on counseling here, but also spiritual balance as we bring the ceremonies to our place of work. And this university is one of the universities that has opened its door to First Nations, because we've created space to where we can do our spiritual ceremonies too. So to me, that's what I've done, is combined all of those elements within what is healthy for a student. How can a student be successful? So they need to be successful within all of their aspects of their life.
Okay. So, how do you view yourself as a role model?
I think as a role model, like I just turned 50 last year, so I'm 51 now, but I still see a big challenge. Is that probably the most important role that I do is that I'm an Aboriginal male that is always seeking balance in all aspects of my life, and I've been extremely helpful within motivating the Aboriginal males within the center. Not saying I don't help the females, I do. I'm a very supportive of all students, but to me the biggest challenge is finding success at universities for our Aboriginal males. If you look at our graduation rates, it's almost 8 to 2 that the females are graduating over the males. The males stop out or drop out, and then if they stop out, then they come back. But it's taken them 7, 8 years to get a degree. The females seem to be taking 5 or 6 years, and it takes them longer, and there's more of the males that stop out or drop out. And I just really want to motivate them to get their bachelor's degree. But I think that helps too, the females, is that sometimes they are coming from communities to where there's a high levels of violence. And I just wanted to be able to share that there is male role models that are reaching balance, and that's what we should expect from all of our Aboriginal communities. You could see that I'm passionate about community development and social development. I really do feel that there's too high of a level of violence in our communities. Externally, there's violence because of the racism against us. As Aboriginal peoples, there's racism against us, and we deal with that every day. But internally, our communities are plagued by so much violence against our women and children. I'm not saying the boys are getting victims of violence too, and our males have to really live up to their traditional roles, and I really think that's very important. So as a role model, I do my best to role model that. Is that you can reach academic success by revitalizing your traditions, but you can be successful in an academic institution. But I also am a good role model in community development, that we get back to traditional values. And the traditional values is our males, our grandfathers, our fathers, our uncles, our cousins and nephews, and are all healthy, reaching balance, and that they are protectors and peacekeepers for the community rather than being so violent.